Post-traumatic stress. We often think of it in relation to maybe war veterans or terrible one-off incidents that have happened in someone's life. Well, this week I connected with it personally. I have for the last 10 or 11 years lived through, from October to December, a period of really difficult and high anxiety, which often makes me feel very ill. And I have in the past gone for medical treatment, been given beta blockers, but over the years I've kind of put my own resources together. But still, it has always been a really, really difficult time of the year when I tend to feel a lot more panicky, a lot more overwhelmed. Physically, I don't feel very well, lots of racing thoughts. So what's different this year? Well, number one, finding out that actually this comes from post-traumatic stress. I had just always focused on knowing that because a series of very traumatic events happened one year and then another series in exactly the same time of the year happened. So things like my son being diagnosed, well, misdiagnosed as it turned out, with a terminal illness. Then the following year, in around about the same period, having to go through brain surgery, which had some very alarming post-operative consequences where he nearly died, and then the tragic death from suicide of my brother, all in that period in 2 different years. So as I say, every year around this time, so it's October, we've just gone into November, I go through this dance, and it's been very strange. But this year, the big difference is that I have learned about quantum energy coaching. So this is a very science-based technique, but it's a simple technique where you can install new beliefs about memories, emotions, thinking, and ways that you've just kind of learned to operate in the world. So fortunately on Tuesday I was having my own session. I wasn't working with a client, I was having my own session with its creator, Dr. Melanie Salmon. And in the course of our conversation, she looked at me very square in the face and she said, well, what you're describing to me is post-traumatic stress. And I have to say that came as a shock, and I just felt quite strange for a short time and a bit emotional and also slightly foolish as I know so much about trauma but had not really applied this to myself in this context. Anyway, luckily, because we were having a session that day, she helped me to create some new beliefs which have enabled me now to come to such a place of calmness and safety and regulation that I would never have believed was possible. Melanie said, oh yes, post-traumatic stress. Don't worry, we can definitely do something about that. And lo and behold, we created some new beliefs which we then installed in my subconscious mind. So my conscious mind, it won't really help in a situation like this. I could have thought to myself, oh yeah, I just won't feel like this anymore because I know what it is now. But of course, my body would still have responded in the same way because that's what always happens. When we have a lot of trauma, as Joe Dispenza says, our body becomes our mind and it kind of runs the show in a not very helpful or healthy way. So what has happened since Tuesday? Well, immediately after the session, I felt very calm, very light, really quite different. And what I've noticed is not in a kind of big high, but I have tested my energy reserves to the hilt this week because I delivered 5 workshops over the course of 2.5 days. And I was quite fearful that I wasn't going to make it because it was a series of 3-hour workshops delivered pretty much back to back. And you know what? I've got to Friday and I had a long journey home after the last one. And yeah, I'm a tiny bit tired, but really nothing, because I just feel like I'm living inside a different person's body and brain. So this is the power of quantum energy coaching, and it's something that I really hope that I can help you access. It's important that we do the first session face to face so that I can really truly read the level of anxiety or stress that you may have. And then after that, if it feels okay, we can work online. So the good news is that although I live in the southwest of England in the UK, I will also be in Washington towards the end of November. I'll be in Vietnam, December into January, Malaysia, February into March, and then Australia. So if you can't find me in the UK, then let's link up and get you your session if you happen to be in one of those countries. Because honestly, the transformations that I'm experiencing and that I'm seeing for my clients, I almost have no words for. To find out more, please drop me an email, janeevans61@hotmail.co.uk, or pop onto my website. I was going to say Facebook. I thought, no, website's more useful. All the w's.thejaneevans.com, and I will happily give you more information on this life-changing technique.